What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I hope you like this video. This is your review for Married to Medicine Season 9, Episode 9. So we start this episode off. We see Dr. Heavenly going to visit Damon down to his medical practice. He has a pain management clinic, and he has actually opened up his second location. And she's taking him lunch, and they're having lunch, and she's apologizing for her behavior the other night. And she said, listen, I apologize. And, she said, I have what I have going on with my mom, but that's no excuse for me to act the way I act. You're right. I should have listened. When you asked me to stop, I should have stopped, and I didn't. And Damon said, you've been a good wife to me. Like, you normally are, a good wife, and I should have taken into consideration that you were having a bad day and you were going through what you were going through with your mom. Like, you normally don't, you normally don't talk to me like that, or treat me like that. Now, in full disclosure, Dr. Heavenly in her YouTube live said that they had been arguing earlier that day. They had already been arguing earlier that day, and she said she had talked to him crazy, and she had said some stuff to him that she shouldn't have said. And so when they got there, they were already in a bad space. She said she had even called Simone and, tried to get out of it. But, of course, they're filming. They had already made this arrangement, and, y'all know how it is. So, in full disclosure, they were just having a bad day. And married couples do. Even the best couples have bad days, So, that's what they had going on. Now, while they were talking, we see Scott and Contessa talking, and Scott trying to talk to Contessa about, trying to figure things out with Heavenly, hating the fact that her and Heavenly are in the place that they're in. And Contessa was like, listen, right now, I'm not even worried about that. She's dealing with her mom, and I can't imagine. Well, Contessa's been through that. She said, so I can't imagine what she's going through. And right now, our little petty beef just ain't even important. And me and Heavenly, I still love her. I love her like a sister. I just got to keep my distance. We fight like sisters. And Scott was like, yeah, this is a little deeper than sisters. Y'all doing a little bit more than fighting like sisters. But, but I can appreciate that Contessa called a truce at least long enough for, for Heavenly to deal with what she needs to deal with. We see Anila going out with her mom, and again talking about how she don't have no nanny child, and she's taking her mom to a location. She's going to open up a hair lock shop for Indian hair child. I don't know. She opened up a hair store. It's not a beauty supply store. It is a hair child where people can go get their hair done. Like, they come up with all these fancy names to just say salon. It's a salon, girl. People are going to go there and get their hair done. She's going to have a VIP suite. And it's going to be, of course, top of the line hair. And she talked about how, when she had her kids and how her hair thinned out. And she sort of lost hair. And how these extensions helped her, honey. Whatever. Then we see Audra and her husband. They are planning their wedding. Now, they are legally married. They went down to the courthouse. But now that we are moving into sort of a more, I don't want to say a post, COVID world, but now that things are starting to open up again, they want to have an actual ceremony. But of course, it is becoming more and more expensive every time they go to the daggone wedding planner. And child, that's how it happens, honey. That's how it happens. But we got to see them. She said it is going to definitely be some elements from Ghana, from her, from her culture involved in that, and so. We have that. That's cool. That's cool. We have a little moment with Dr. Jackie and some podcasters, some LGBTQ podcasters that she did a podcast with. They hadn't been to the gynecologist and who knows when, so they came to let Dr. Jackie check them out. And this was just a PSA. It was a moment to let people know that just because you are lesbian does not mean you don't need to go see the gynecologist on a more regular basis. That even though you are loving the same, you loving different, things may not be, anyway, she just had that to say, you still need to come to the gynecologist, okay? I was about to dig a hole for myself. I was about to go deep. Karen decides that he is going to have a guy's night out, right? He's having a nice spot. He's got bourbon tasting. He's got it catered. He said he wants the guys to dress up. It's going to be like a dapper occasion. All the guys dress up. Cecil show up in one of his, custom cars, honey. And he's got massages to do, hand massage, back massage, mani-pedis. And he even has somebody that's going to do a little filler, a little Botox. Now, on camera, ain't none of the guys take him up on the Botox. And I just say on camera because, I don't know, they might have changed their mind when the cameras weren't rolling. But on camera, ain't none of them say they want to. But a couple of them got the mani, got the massages and hand massages, stuff like that. But basically, the guys came through and just had a good time. Listen, we know that when the guys get together, it is easy breezy. It is real light. It is easy breezy. They talked about the O shot and had they seen the difference in their women since they had the O shots. What else they talk about, child? Eugene talked to Dr. Damon about wanting to get out of emergency medicine. And we see them have a more detailed conversation later on in the episode. But I'm going to say this. I 120% feel where Eugene is coming from. I don't see it from his perspective. Obviously, I was not an emergency room doctor working through COVID. But I do understand. He said, this was my plan A, and I don't have a plan B. And when your plan A sort of implodes, you don't know what to do next. And that's where I am. And I understand from that perspective. Like I said, I'm not going to sit here and equate the fact that he dealt with so much during COVID. But as someone who's been a classroom teacher my entire career, and I've now come to the conclusion that I no longer want to do that. But I don't know where to go next. You know what I'm saying? I get that. I understand wanting to do something different, but not even knowing where to go, what direction to hop in. So I feel Dr. Eugene on that part of it. But the guys look like they had a nice time. They were able to kind of laugh and joke with each other and do what they do. Like, they always have a good time when they get together. That whole thing with Eugene and Anila's husband was an anomaly. Like, that was an anomaly for them. Then we see Anila with her mom. Anila is frustrated with her mom because her mom is doing what her mom does. First of all, I am concerned about what her parents' house looked like. Because if she only been living with you for 2 weeks and that house looked the way it looked, she dropping stuff on the floor, she leaving stuff out from breakfast. Now, one thing that I do agree with her that she said your kids need to learn how to bring their dishes to the sink. Like, now I agree with her on that. Now, when they eat breakfast, they are old enough to pick their bowls up, their plates up, and at least walk it over to the sink. Now, I ain't disagreeing with her on that one. But neither here nor there, though, Mama, it was more than just their plates on the sink, okay? You had stuff everywhere, okay? And she had a nerve to get an attitude with Anila and told her, listen, either you take it or you leave it because this what you getting from me. I ain't doing nothing more than what I'm doing. You don't get to tell me what to do. I am the mama. You don't get to tell me what to do. You don't get to talk to me crazy. And either you going to take what I'm giving you or me and my husband, we will pack our 500 suitcases and we will go home. All I can say is your husband tried to tell you, girl. Now, we also, just like Eugene is struggling, LaToya is also struggling. And we see LaToya talking to a spiritual coach about finding her happy. You know, she talked about going through things during COVID too. And I know that people gave Toya a hard time last year when she was basically comparing what she was going through to what the doctors were going through. And I just feel like, nobody wins when we try to compare wounds. You know what I'm saying? Nobody wins in that game. And at the end of the day, the reality is we all struggled. We all dealt with it. We all had we all went through what we went through with the pandemic, and it affected us differently. And so, ultimately the counselor said you and Eugene are going to have to be intentional with how you guys spend time together and what you do. The one thing Damon told Eugene was when he got out of emergency medicine, he said his kids told him he was different. And so Eugene may really truly have to make a decision about if this is where he needs to be at this point. It's definitely an important conversation for him and Toya to have. But that was basically the episode. This was sort of a filler, I guess. Next week, it looks like Quad is having an event at her house, housewarming type situation. So we'll see what happens there. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.